So just so you guys are aware, we have about 25 people that are also participating online today. They made arrangements like from Emery County and Nebo District to come up and get the materials. So they have their materials with them already. So make sure, like, we'll be pausing every now and then to see if there's questions. Brian's going to be running any comments that come through them. So just know that Brian's going to be about 25 personalities in just a second, okay? So my name is Jamie Robinson, and I work at the Utah State Board of Education. I'm the preschool through second grade specialist. I've almost been there for a full year, this close. And a lot of you probably know or have met Sue Okroy. And what I put up here is she's my respected and knowledgeable predecessor because that is who she is. She is. So for those of you, I just thought I would let you know, so restrooms, it's always important, right? We all want to know where they're at. If you go past the reception desk out here, you're going to want to sit where there's materials for you. Sorry. So if you head down this hallway, there are bathrooms just straight down this hall. Okay, past the receptionist desk. And then you'll notice in your red folders, there are some index cards. If you guys have any questions as we're going along, make sure that you write them down. And when there'll be some slides, it'll say, do you have questions? And at that point, it'll be a great time to ask questions, okay? And I just wanted to know, can you guys hear me okay? Online, are we doing well? Ew. That's on her end? Okay. Please let me know if you keep having problems, because those are our friends in Nebo that have 20 people in a room. So it'd be really hard for them not to hear what we're doing. So for those of you that have been with this program before, we are replacing the STAR program with what is now called Partners in Dyad Reading. And I will get to some of the research as to why. They've seen some great growth. They've run some pilot programs. There's plenty of research out there, but I thought that you might be interested in the pilot program that ran in Washington County last year. So I have that information for you. So my question is, I want to know, who do we have in the room? Do we have any principals? Perfect. Any coaches? Perfect. Literacy directors? Okay. Tutors? Who did I miss? Oh, vice principal. See? Everybody else in the room? Well, you know. So just so you know, I have a pretty top for 19 years, and probably 10 of those years where it was in kindergarten. That has preschool experience, first grade experience, second grade experience. So anyway, I apologize for missing my teachers. All right. So I don't know how many of you are still feeling the effects. Morning. You're fine. Here's a sign-in sheet for you guys. And then you'll want to make sure you sit where there's materials. So we have a sign-up sheet up here up front if any of you, and if you did not find your name on there, I had you write it down at the bottom, right? And we'll make sure that Brian gets that added. For anybody that's out online, I know I had a list of like 23 people, and there were only about 5 of them registered yesterday. So if any of them can make sure that they register in the Midas course, that would be great too. So you will notice some materials in front of you. You have a red folder. And in that red folder, on the left-hand side, you'll notice you have a lot of informational sheets. I'll give you a second to kind of look through those. In the middle, you have the next steps materials. And on the right-hand side, you will have copies of documents that are actually from your manual. So you have sticky notes on your table for a reason. If any of those, if you want to put sticky notes as we're going through the manual, on those pages to mark for copies or anything that you find vitally important, that would be fantastic. You also should have the Partners in Dyad Reading Manual and a Building Readers Parent Guide. Hopefully they are all revised April of 2018. Yep. Didn't read upside down very well that time. Celine and Nebo, if you will do me a favor and email me and let me know that we need to fix one of the links in this parent manual that you have in there, that would be great. And I also wanted to let you know we have the Next Steps material is from the University of Utah Reading Clinic. We want to make sure we give credit because it's amazing. And then the Board of Education also has a Partners in Dyad reading page. It is not 100% yet. I've run into a few problems with copyrighted materials. I need to contact some people, but I have been working very closely to get all that material updated for you. Okay, but just to let you know that all of it should be there soon, but I wanted to make you aware there's also a website. Does everybody have everything they need? Okay. I hope that means that we did our job and we set up the tables well. So. All right, can I get somebody to please read this paragraph for me? And if you want, if it's easier for you, it's like page 2 in your manual. Have a volunteer? All right, I'm working at 7. Isn't it funny? I'm like, I'm working on it. Yeah. Yeah, I should have looked at that myself. Thank you.
Research-based awareness, phonics, vocabulary, and comprehension. Components are reinforced as students receive scaffolded reading and appropriate challenging text. Partners in Dyad reading, students in first grade, text should be at their current reading level with a range of 50 Lexiles above and 100 Lexiles below. Partners in Dyad reading, students in grade 2 and up, text should be 2 years above their current reading level. Research has shown that when students in second grade and up are put into challenging text and provided scaffolding, their reading performance grows more rapidly than when placed in instructional level text.
Hey, anything shock anyone yet? Okay, I just wanted to make you aware, like there is a Dyad training that the state also offers. This is different than that program. I want to make you fully aware of that. However, there are several components that are the same. So if you've had that Dyad training, you might be saying the only, like some people say the only difference is it's adult to child and not child to child. So when you get to the Dyad part, but that is only the first 15 minutes of Dyad. The second 15 minutes is more instructional time. And so this program can be used for your kindergartners and your first graders that are struggling readers, right? But with your kindergartners, you're going to be wanting to work on more of the phonemic awareness, the letter recognition, the letter sounds. As you've probably heard in the state, their scores are pretty low, and they've done a lot of research to find out the reason that it's so low is a lot of them need more phonemic awareness. And they're finding that a lot of the curriculums that we use don't have enough focus on phonemic awareness. So when you have those struggling readers, right? Yeah. So there is the Haggerty program that is out there that we did a training on in the spring as well. So, and I've heard lots of good results for that. So when you have those struggling readers in kindergarten, but like it says in first grade, have them only read on grade level. The Dyad part is meant for grades 2 and up. Okay. So, of course, in literacy, we remember that we have the big 5, right? From the reading panel. So we have, you're going to be working on your phonemic awareness, the phonics, the fluency, to get to the comprehension, and all along the way we're working on, right? So there will be a part in, you'll notice as you're doing, the thing that I love about the dyad part is you're working on the comprehension and the fluency and the vocabulary while you're doing the reading, okay? So I just wanted to make sure there are plenty of responsibility pages that you guys can flip through, but I just wanted to hit on a couple of them. So the responsibilities of the school partner and dyad reading coordinator is that you'll attend a training by the Utah State Board of Education, which is what brings you here today, right? And you're going to conduct a reading program overall for the faculty and staff. These programs work really well if the teachers in the building know that they're available. Okay, so make sure that you mention that to your faculty and staff. We want to make sure you secure and manage tutoring materials, recruit and oversee volunteer tutors, train the volunteer tutors, and then make sure there's a coordinated system that they can communicate. If they can't communicate with each other, it makes it a little bit more difficult, right? So that was just another, make sure we inform our faculty comment. A lot of people ask, can I get anybody to read that first paragraph under general materials? Perfect.
Serves as a determining a filing system. Cabinet or vast organized.
Okay. So just keep in mind, we talked about the communication. Some schools have preferred to have kind of contact. So if a tutor has a problem, they would like them to go to that one point of contact, whether it's the coordinator, the teacher, the literacy director, whoever's in their building, their principal. Because sometimes, and instead of like tutor to classroom teacher, you want them to have that communication, but you also want to make sure that it's nothing that's going to be offensive on either end, right? So sometimes they like to have a contact person. Some schools choose to do that, some schools don't. So that part is up to you. So when you're thinking about volunteers, who comes to mind? Okay, perfect. Okay. Anybody else have some ideas? That's awesome. Good. Good. Yep. Yep. All right. Universities, think about those students that are going through teaching programs and they need to get some experience and some service hours. Those are great people to contact too. So when it comes to identifying students, there is a form that the classroom teacher will fill out. That will be the next slide that we look at. So when the students that are coming in for the tutoring program, they're kind of your struggling readers, right? So just keep that in mind. Everybody's like, well, we'll just send our whole class. You can, but then you're looking at more of dyad training student to student, right? When you're having a parent volunteer, it's a little bit different because they can range the rate, they can speed up, they can slow it down based on what the student needs. Okay? She was adjusting her blouse over there and I thought she had something to add really quick. So here's a teacher recommendation form. That's just one of the forms that's in there that you may want to add a sticky. You don't have to. I will say that one of the biggest things you're going to want on here is to make sure you have the Lexile levels. Those Lexile levels are going to help you determine the instructional level for that child. And because we're starting in the fall, you're probably going to want to look at their spring Lexile levels. Okay? So the tutoring sessions. Research has determined that 2 times per week is the minimum of tutoring sessions that will produce gains. Okay. Can somebody read the next ones down? Because I feel like if I face that way, I can't project sound that well. So, anybody want you to read that section for me? You guys are a bunch of readers. Go ahead. Yeah.
Schedules and match students by looking at manual and partners in Dyad reading. Also tutor schedule, the tutor center. By the school principal, secretary, classroom teacher.
Another thing to kind of add to that, when you're talking about master schedules, please let your volunteers know if you have like a professional development day and students won't be there that day. Like, give them the school calendar. There have been a few that have shown up, or say, for instance, you have a snow day. You might want to have a way to contact your volunteers so that they're not coming in on days that you're not going to be holding school. There's also, you'll notice, glossary of terms. And then I need 5 volunteers because there's 5 different bullets. So would anyone like to volunteer for number 1? Perfect. Okay. In some of my trainings that I've had for a long time, we had a nurse, and every year when she did the bloodborne pathogens, she had this motto. She said, if it's wet and it's warm. So, number 2. Okay. Has anybody for number 3? Perfect. We all know that in this building, right? But make sure your volunteers do, okay? Number 4.
Potentiality.
Okay. The one thing I was going to add about scheduling too, like the positive experiences, right? Do you want to pull kids from recess? No. Okay. They'll love reading at that point, right? All right. And then number 5. Perfect. Okay. All right, so material list. So you want to try to make sure you have leveled books, right? Because you're going to be starting at Lexile levels, but then you're going to be going 2 or 3 grade levels above their Lexile level, okay?
Hey, Jamie.
Have a double pocket folder for each student. That's where you can keep the books that they are reading along with your lesson plans. along with anything else that you want in that folder to keep track of. Magnetic letters and letter tiles, letter cards might be important. Beginning sound cards, most of you know where to find those. A timer, because you're going to be doing the high frequency timings and other materials. Whiteboards and dry erase markers. Index cards are always fabulous, so you can write down those words that students might have a problem with vocabulary or might have a problem with recognizing. You'll have a notebook for spelling, and then just make sure you have the typical desk supplies. Okay. It's also great, right? Principals like you, if you have a sign-in sheet so that they know, and they also know, please make sure that they're checking in with the school secretaries and following school procedures for any visitors that you have, and that they have a name badge. And then we, of course, talked about like making sure any confidential information is kept under lock and key, okay? So we're going to take about 3 minutes, and I want you to be thinking about how you can set this up in your area. Okay? You can also take the time. There's lots of responsibilities. If you guys want to glance through those really quick, you're welcome to do that too. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. I know that our Nebo friends still don't have audio, and so we're still trying to work through that, so I apologize. So there'll be just kind of a student page. There's also a tutor page. And then this is where we start getting into the lesson part, okay? So for the first 15 minutes, you're going to revisit a book or you're going to introduce a new book. And then for the next 10 to, or 11 to 14 minutes, that's when you're going to get into the meat of the dyad, okay? And I have videos to show you, and we'll walk through it together, and you'll have time to practice it, okay? And then for the next 15 minutes, so if you haven't pulled out for a 30-minute session, the next 15 minutes, that's what we're going to be working on. Their high-frequency lessons and words, their fluency, the early steps, and the next steps components. Okay? This is what the lesson plan looks like. You'll notice that it's just divided into the dyad versus the literacy supplemental. So what we've done is in your red folder, this is copied front to back. You can actually put one of those, and it should be about a month's worth of lesson plans for each sheet of those papers, or each one of those papers if they're front to back. So this is just more like the new book introduction, which I'm sure a lot of you are aware of. It's getting the student involved, it's showing them the front of the book, the back of the book, walking through a couple of the pictures. So just make sure that you're trying to do like some personal connections with the books too. So here's some of the research from that Washington pilot that they did just last year. So they had 8 teachers that were in that pilot program. 1 was 2nd grade, 3 of them were 3rd grade, 2 were 4th grade, and 3 were 5th grade, including 1 special education class. What they noticed is their Dibble's average Lexile gains in 2nd grade were 442. 3rd grade was 367. The 4th graders were at 469. Those are the gains. Okay. Does anybody else want to take that on? I'll be happy to talk to you about it, but I'm sure there's somebody here that can explain it. Yes, I will. Yeah. So we have a chart that we'll talk to you about that, but Lexiles are just kind of like, think of it kind of like a thermometer, right? So you're kind of getting at the part where, what do they know? Where are they going to be challenged? Where can we push them? But the Lexiles, so we'll get there. And then 5th grade, they had 117, which was an overall average of 333 Lexiles. And the thing that has been the most important has been that the text difficulty is the crucial lever. And so when they talk about doing the 2 or 3 grades above, that seems to pull the students up because it gives them a model of what fluent readers sound like. Okay? They did it through Washington County. They had several, like the 8 teachers that volunteered. That's the most recent. That was just last year. They've also done programs in Layton. They've done programs in, yeah. So the state ran that. So Jennifer Thronston, for those of you that know her, and Erica Thomas were the two that went down and did the training and went and did all of the data for that program. So on this, we have like our kindergarten levels. Your Lexile levels are what you'll get from the Acadians reading scores, right? Otherwise formerly known as DIBELS, I should say. And then, so you have your Lexile levels, which are it'll give you the instructional levels. And then you have your guided reading. Some of you may have heard of the DRA, and there's your DIBELS information. So this is just kind of like a nice conversion chart. For your first graders or second graders? Yes. I would do Dyad reading with your second graders that are on first grade level. Yes. That'd be me.
So if they report 50. So that's grade level.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you should make sure you understand that was the aim,
Yes.
not the score.
Right. Okay. It is their independent. Yes, and I've been interchanging those words, so I apologize. All right.
So that Lexile level gain was documented by
Jennifer.
Acadians?
Well, I believe they went off of their Acadians testing, yes.
So the gain was
Yes.
that's where they
That's where they got the information. I forgot to tell Sue I was going to have her switch over to videos, so I'm going to go grab that really quick. Be nice to hear that, right? It looked like they were having a moment. I would agree with you. Yes. So what did you guys notice? Yes. What else did you guys notice?
She gave her the word and then go back and put it within the phrase.
Yes.
And then move on.
And I love that you guys are catching all this with very little audio skills. What else did we notice?
then she heard difficult concepts, like after.
Right.
So she went back.
Okay. What else? Perfect. Anybody notice anything else? Right. Right. And so this is when you're doing this, this is where you can pull your vocabulary lessons from. You can pull your comprehension. You can ask your questions. All that is happening in that 11 to 14 minutes. And imagine what it looks like when you have a tutoring session, because I've conducted plenty of them. You give a student a book and you have them read it word by word. They get stuck on a word, you give them the word. This way they're actually successful. They're hearing what it's like. They're hearing what it should sound like. And I mean, think about our kiddos that are in those classes that their parents never read to them, right? Or their aunts, their uncles, or whoever they were with. And so this gives them an opportunity to put the voice, or it's kind of like an all-inclusive model, right? It's got all your different categories. So The Dyad reading rules. Do you want? Yes. Yes, I will start doing that. I apologize. Either that or I'll start bringing the microphone around. It'll be great. All right, so just remember on here are your rules, right? So you share one book, you sit side by side. It's actually kind of important too for the adult to sit a little bit further behind so that you're kind of speaking in the child's ear and you can keep that pace with them. As an adult and a well-read adult, right, an adult you can set your own pace at that point. So you know those students that need a little bit, they need you to slow down a little bit, but they're still getting the complex vocabulary, the concepts, the ideas, the story structure are in a very rich environment. Make sure the books that you're reading are also like fiction and nonfiction, and that you add some poetry in there and you give them a rich environment or a rich reading library. You also make sure that you want to do tracking with one smooth finger. It is not it is one smooth finger, right? Read aloud together. And you notice not that you could hear, but the reader, the student at that point, stopped reading at one point. And were you able to hear what Jennifer said at that point? She just said, I can't hear you, let's read together. And so when you get those students that are kind of frustrated, or you'll notice in the video that I'll show you a little bit later on from Granite, there's a couple kids that yawn, right? If they yawn, you're not going to stop reading because a kid's yawning. You're just going to keep picking up where you're at. So that way you're both keeping eyes on the words. So you have the visual, you have the auditory, right? And then don't read too fast or too slow. Talk about the unknown words while you're reading and have fun. Okay? So the thing that's so cool, I think, about Dyad reading in particular is that you're reading and you're having fun while you're doing it. You're in the text, you're in the book. Alex? It won't work anymore. Hold on. I wondered when I switched back over if I was going to mess something up. If you just honestly look up Dyad reading, it's like, I think it's model of Dyad reading is what it's actually called. So this is the cool part. We're going to talk for a second, and then we're going to give you a chance to read it. But this is like the story face chart. This is for your books that you're reading, like your narrative text. So you talk about the problem and the solution. You can talk about setting, main character. Some people learn better from an infographic, right? Or aides or anybody in your school that either do better with the visual. So I have the visual. Some of the questions you might want to ask as you're reading the story. But then I also have those friends that like to just read it and you give them the information to ask, right? So I've included both of those in there. Don't worry about the 3 to 5 minutes. This narrative text comprehension is out of your building reader. So if you're wondering where it came from, it's in this book. Okay. And then this is for your informational text when you're doing the comprehension. The biggest thing that you want to remember is you want to start in the middle. You want to start with the topic, the main idea, the key details. And then that informational text, you as an adult will know whether you're going to start asking the questions that are on the left in the blue or the questions that are on the right based on the informational text that you're reading. So I just wanted to make sure, once again, can you guys see okay? Because I realize I am now standing in your way. Are you guys okay? Okay. So here's, once again, your infographic. And then here is your written out, just some questions to remember. So yeah, they're in this one. And this is also in this one. And it's just something that might be nice to let your tutors know. When you're talking about predicting and questioning, you're clarifying and you're summarizing. Those are just some questions that you can ask when it comes to that too. So, yes. 2324. Yes, of the parent guide. this is just that chart again, right? Those are your simple rules. So I'm going to actually have you guys practice first, and then I'm going to have you come back to this video. I'm changing my own order really quick. Okay, so what I would like you to do is you're set up in partners for a reason. So you have a book in front of you. I want you to each take turns being the teacher or the tutor and the reader. So you're going to take the book and you're going to read one book. You're going to have your smooth finger. You're going to make sure that if your student needs you to slow down or speed up, you have an opportunity to do that. So I'm going to give you 6 minutes. So 3 minutes for one and 3 minutes for the other. And I'll keep a timer. So when you hear me say switch, go ahead and switch roles. Okay. So what have you guys noticed? Did you have any other alarming aha moments? Yes. I just remembered she needs a microphone. 1 second.
The adaptation I made with my first through third grade students with this is student tutoring, not adults.
Right.
But the one smooth finger, I've taught my students that they put their finger together and make one smooth finger. The faster, the higher student is guiding that finger. So the lower student has to keep up with that finger, which is teaching the lower student to track, which if you have someone just track for them, they are not going to apply the tracking. And in the lower grades for automaticity and for accuracy, I know at a later date we want to stop them from tracking because it can slow them down. However, tracking with their finger helps them be more automatic and more accurate. So I want them both, but they do know they have to keep their finger together. We do stop at 4th grade because 4th graders don't want to touch fingers anymore. And also their chapter books, the words are smaller. So I strategically place my students, my higher reader is going to be my A student, my lower reader is my B student without telling them that that's what they are. And I always say student A always tracks with their finger. So that still guides that along.
I had heard another thing at a Dyad training I was at a couple days ago where they actually said to give those students access and practice with doing that was to actually have whoever sitting on the left track with their finger. Whoever is sitting on the right can track with their finger. Before I came back up front, does anybody else have any more comments that would like the microphone? Mhm. So the question, no, you're fine. So the question is, once they stopped at the word convulsions, right? And then she took that word and she put it in the vocabulary. Like, did she ever go back and explain to her what that meant, right? Did you guys see that in the video? No. So the one thing that I noticed that it did say is make sure that whenever you're giving the vocabulary, it's in child-friendly terms, right? And so they did say that. That I think is kind of up to the tutor. You can have like a separate, like write the word down and then maybe at the end of the reading you leave like 1 minute where you can talk about the vocabulary. But I've noticed in Jennifer's video, which you guys weren't able to hear very well. So the one thing I'm going to plea for too is if any of you would like to volunteer, let me come record you in doing this. I will make a better sample of what that should look like, if that makes sense. So, but I've noticed in Jennifer's, when they stopped and they talked about it, they spent just a couple of seconds talking about what the meaning of that word was. So that's kind of why I picked both of these videos. One, just to give you kind of like a model. Then this one is kind of more of a culminating, it pulls it all together. But in Jennifer's, they talked about the word specifically while they were reading it. And then I noticed with her, she wrote it down. And I'm assuming at the end of the lesson, she would take a couple minutes to describe or to explain that word. Does that answer your question?
but
Okay.
they don't.
Okay. Yeah, she was just stating that when they do vocabulary training, they just kind of give a small definition and then they go on. What I would recommend is give a small definition, go back and start at the beginning of that sentence again, and then read it again so they have the understanding.
So in the original Dyad training, they were,
Mhm.
when they come to a word they don't know, we've trained the kids to write the word on a post-it or keep a notebook, words. And then the teacher, at a later time, goes through those words with the class, and they do a quick structural analysis and how to figure out that word. But when you're reading with an adult, vocabulary is embedded and going through it. That's the shift from the traditional Dyad
Right.
versus an adult who does know the word.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make that clear of why
Yes.
the second video. How
And I wish I would have handed you the mic because to summarize that really quick is going to be fun. So what she had just talked about is when you're doing regular Dyad reading and it's peer-to-peer, they both come across a word they don't know, then the teacher does kind of like an analysis and they talk about the vocabulary word. But the difference in this partners in Dyad reading is you have an adult that's leading the reading and the adult can give that definition in the moment. As like anything else we should add to that. Anybody else have anything else they want to add? They offer it often throughout the year. Yeah.
we'll get a notice on.
Erica Thomas
Yeah, I know.
is, oh yeah, if you email her, she'll set it up.
Okay.
I actually just went with them to Ogden District 2 days ago on Wednesday. And they offered a 1-hour PD
So
on.
they go.
So they can go to the different schools, I think they prefer probably districts so that they can affect, they can train more, but Erica, it's Erika Thomas. One day I'll figure out the clicker. Perfect. So the one thing that I would love to tell you is just make sure you have that leverage. You have the instructional level where you need it. You want to find that sweet spot because in all the training or all of the pilots that they've done, they have found out that using materials 2 to 3 grade levels above for struggling readers is where you get the greatest growth. Right. Because with first graders, they're still learning how to read. And so that's why you want to stay within their reading range. And you build their fluency and their confidence at that level.
So even a second grader.
You are. Right. The second part of this training will go back, when we get to Sue, we'll talk more about all of that. Right. Yep. So you take their Lexile level and you go 2 grade levels above their Lexile level. So if you go back to that chart, right? And if they have a Lexile, I should have that marked in here. But if they have a specific, whatever their Lexile level is, you go 2 to 3 grade levels above their Lexile level. Okay? Yes. Yes, there is. Okay, guess what? We're taking a break. You guys have earned it. I do have some snacks up here that you guys are welcome to come grab if you want. They were left over from a science training. So I was like, there's a lot of variety in there. So let's come back. You guys, I forgot to tell you time. Let's come back at 10:20. Give you 10 minutes.
Thank you. We're on to the next step. The word study piece in your booklet. So if you'll please turn to page 55. And this whole piece here lasts 8 to 10 minutes. Do I? Am I on or not? Okay, am I on now? I'm good? Okay. So this whole piece here, this is the early steps, next steps piece. The only thing you're going to be trained on today is the next steps piece, which is 2nd and 3rd grades. You can even use it in 4th grade. The early steps piece is kindergarten and 1st, and you will get those materials. The training is going to be online for that. You can see exactly how to do that. Or you can go to the University of Utah website for early steps, next steps, and that's all there too. So this was developed at the University of Utah for struggling readers, and Dr. Kathleen Brown is in charge of this. And she and I worked together to make this work for tutors. So it's a little bit different than the training you would actually see at the University of Utah, because we're using a lot of untrained reading people to be tutors on this, aren't we? So you're going to see this done just a little bit differently and not quite as intensive as it's done at the U. So on this, there's 4 pieces to this, and you do this whole thing in 8 to 10 minutes. You're really going to enjoy this. The kids love it because it's all hands-on, it's fun, and it's really fast-paced. So if you look at page 55, I need a really loud, well, I better read it because I might. Usually I have somebody read this, but I'm going to read it. So look down where it says word sort, and that is what you have right here. This is the mixed short vowel word sort. Don't get them out yet. Just leave them there for a minute. So what I've got here in this is the entire program for next steps. And I know it looks intimidating, doesn't it? But you're going to learn 4 things, 4 little game type things, word study, word sorts, that you'll just use with each different vowel pattern all the way through. And there's a way that they move from one piece to the next. There's actually a pass-off thing that they'll have to do. It isn't just randomly, well, do I think they're ready to go? You do a word study check, and then you move them from one to the next. So the very first thing they're going to learn, and we are just supporting what's been taught in the regular classroom already, but the very first thing they're going to learn are these mixed short vowels, which is what you've got. So go into your little package, and you're going to work with the person right next to you, so you're in a pair, and you'll set them up. So if you can read upside down, your anchor word is the only thing you want to put out. Keep the rest of it in their individual piles, but you're going to put the anchor word hat, pig, mom, and red. And you need to move your books aside because you need this much space to do it in. You're going to have to build a matrix. Yeah. Yeah. So today, we have over here for you, per school or per site, we've got all of this done for you. And it's all laminated. All you have to do is cut it apart and then set it up. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to set it up and talk to you about it. So this is the next steps piece, and then there's also one set of early steps for you. This isn't going to be near enough for you. You're going to have to run more cards, and they'll all be online, and it will tell you exactly how to do it. The one thing I'm going to caution you about is don't run this whole thing at once when you're printing it, because people get the cards all mixed up. Run mixed short vowels, get those all put together, and then you can even just stay ahead of the kids. So if everybody's working on mixed short vowels in your tutoring groups, then just run that much and then run the next piece and work on that. You don't have to do it all at once. Okay. So what they've been taught in the regular classroom is that a short vowel which we're working on, is followed by a consonant, which makes it a closed syllable, right? So we are looking at mixed short vowels, and we are going to say a couple of things to the kids. And first of all, we're going to say, point with me, everybody. So you should have an anchor word out. And I'm going to come over to Jamie so I can be seen on screen. Upside down. We apologize. Okay. So I'm going to say to Jamie, this is the word hat. What's the word?
Hat.
All right. Then I'm going to point to this, and I'm going to say the vowel pattern is a consonant. Okay, I need you to listen so you don't get lost. The vowel pattern is a consonant. What's the vowel pattern?
A consonant.
Good. The vowel sound is ah. What's the vowel sound? Ah. All right, let's do this one. The word is pig. What's the word?
Pig.
The vowel pattern is I consonant. What's the vowel pattern?
I consonant.
The vowel sound is I. What's the vowel sound?
I.
Okay. This is the word mom. What's the word?
Mom.
The vowel pattern is O consonant. What's the vowel pattern?
O consonant.
And the vowel sound is ah.
Ah.
Good. This is the word red. What's the word?
Red.
The vowel pattern is E consonant. What's the vowel pattern?
E consonant.
And the vowel sound is eh. All right, now what we're going to do, that was number 1 on your activities in your booklet on page 55. It said, I'm going to read out loud to you, tutor places the bold anchor words from the sort in the correct order. And if you want to see what the correct order is, turn the page, and right here it says next steps. This is the order you're going to start in. Now notice it isn't A, E, I, O, U, and I will tell you why. We're working with a lot of Hispanic children in this program, and I and E, short sound, is very similar in Spanish, and it confuses kids. So at the University of Utah, when they wrote this, they did that specifically so that Hispanic children weren't confused in it. All right, so there you've got your pattern. Now scoot it up so that you can put enough. You're going to make a 16-card matrix, so move it up. All right, step 2. Okay, step 2. Tutor tells the student the vowel pattern and the vowel sound in each word, or in the anchor word, which we just did. Step 3, the tutor hands the student a card and asks the student, where does it go? They don't ask the student to read the card. They simply say, where does it go? And then student places the card under the column with the matching vowel pattern. The next step, tutor asks the student to point to the words in each column and read them. Student points to each word and reads down that column every time a new word is added. So watch Jane. Here we go. All right, so you're going to get really fast at this, and you need to get really fast at this so they go in between your fingers. So these are my short A's. These are my short I's. They don't have to be in any particular order. And notice we don't have U up there, do we? You are going to swap out A with U when they get the A sound learned. Right now, you're just working with the 4, okay? So I'm going to say to Jamie, there's 2 prompts. Number 1, where does it go? Number 2, point and read. So she'll place it where it goes, and then as soon as she's placed it, she'll start at the anchor word and read every time she places a card. So, and I'm just going to put it on the table. Watch. Where does it go? Point and read. Starting at the anchor word and going down.
Red. Bend.
Good. Where does it go?
Mom. Chop.
Okay.
I forgot to proper.
Where does it go? Point and read.
Mom. Chop. Doll.
Where does it go? Point and read.
Red. Bend. Bend.
Okay, notice I'm going to keep prompting, but in a while they totally get what I'm saying and you just irritate them. Plus it's a pain for you and it slows everything down. So they're going to catch on to this really quickly, and you're just going to put it on the table, and they know they need to put it in the column where that vowel pattern is. Now, what if they make a mistake? in your red folder, open your red folder, go to the middle section of your red folder. And second, wow, that was scary. Second back, you've got mixed short vowels. It looks like this. And if you turn, this is everything I'm saying plus what's in the book plus a little bit more. So this is your next step information. But if you'll turn right to the second page, you're going to see what tapping is. And I'm going to talk about tapping just for a minute. So if I'm tapping, this is a tactile way for children who are struggling getting words together to understand it tactily. So if I'm tapping the word hat so that they understand how that works, this is home base, these are runners, and each finger has a runner, and they all have to touch home base. So if I'm working with hat, I'm going to say sound, not letter, and then I'm going to blend hat, and I'm pulling them all together. Okay? Do cat with me. Cat. All right. As a tutor, it's great to start out doing that, but pretty soon you want to pull back and say to the child, you tap it, because they're going to depend on you to tap it, and you want them to get that pattern ingrained. We're working with phonemes here, which is the smallest unit of sound in a word. So if I were tapping phone, think about phone for a minute, I'm going to tap it differently because I'm doing sounds, right? So how am I going to do phone? Phone, right? PH is one tap. Silent E doesn't get it. All right, do you understand? This is going to really be helpful, especially with kindergarten, first, even second, possibly even beginning third graders. There will be a point where they don't want to do this anymore, but it really is helpful for beginning readers. So Jamie is going to put this in the wrong column. And I want to show you a couple of ways to correct. Where does it go? Okay, and you're going to correct right now. You're not going to wait any longer. You're going to correct. So I want you to look at that vowel pattern. What is it?
A consonant.
What's this vowel pattern?
I consonant.
Right. And right now, all I have to say to her is it in the correct column? And all she has to do is say no. But I can do a couple other things. If she really doesn't understand that, I can say, what's your vowel pattern?
A consonant.
What's your vowel pattern here?
I consonant.
What's your vowel sound?
A.
What's your vowel sound?
I.
All right, and absolutely, she knows what? She's in the wrong column. So move it where it goes, and then point and read. Okay, so here's your next one. Where does it go? Point and read right from your anchor word.
Red, bend, then step.
Perfect. And then we just keep going until we get through 16 card matrix. If you're running short on time with this, or you have a really slow, struggling reader, cut it down to an 8 card matrix. Make it work for the student. All right, with your buddy, I want you, and I'm going to kind of prompt you, I want you to go ahead and do this. So first of all, let's teach the word. That's the first thing you're going to do. Okay, so move them up so you've got room. Put them in your fingers so you've got them. Decide who's going to be the tutor and who's going to be the student.
In my fingers.
I'm sure there's just some button that. All right. Give me 5. Give me 5. Thank you. All right, what I want you to do then is teach with me. You're going to talk with me to the child. Here we go. This is the word hat. Everybody. This is the word hat. The vowel pattern is a consonant. Talk with me. The vowel sound is a. This is the word pig. The vowel pattern is I consonant. The vowel sound is I. This is the word mom. The vowel pattern is O consonant. The vowel sound is ah. Go ahead, you do it.
This is the word red. The vowel pattern is E consonant. The vowel sound is E.
Now, the only thing you're going to do differently on that is I'm going to say that to the student, and then you're going to say, well, this is the word, what's the word? And they're going to say it. The vowel pattern is A consonant. What's the vowel pattern? A consonant. The vowel sound is A. What's the vowel sound? A. All right, you ready? All right, do it alone with your buddy then. Go ahead.
Could you demonstrate on the camera what putting the cards between your fingers looks like?
Cards between your fingers, what it looks like.
I could have done that for you. You know?
You can't. You're not the tutor.
I could have done it.
I wish we could figure out how to put that thing. Hopefully they can see it. Okay, give me 5. Thank you. And tutors should have them in their fingers. Now your next step is you're going to put a card on the table and you're going to say what? Where does it go? And if they make a mistake, you're going to correct with vowel pattern, vowel sound, and try tapping. Okay? And if you're a child, please make a mistake. All right? All right. Now, I'm not going to give you forever to do this. You've got to move on it. You've got about 3 minutes to do a 16-card matrix, including your anchor words are part of the 16. You ready? Okay, go.
So on the first one, so he gets it right. So I see.
Then you say point and read. Mom, rock. Every time he puts down a new card, you point and read wherever.
We don't go through all the consonant and sound.
Not right now. Yep. You will do that in a minute. And then point and read. Point and read. Yep, he does it. He's the child, right?
Point and read. Shit.
Yep. You want to, as tutor, you want to be as quiet as possible. Yeah. Okay, be sure you just 16-card matrix going all. Don't leave them out. Don't take them away. You're going to need them. Don't gather them up.
Card matrix,
Including anchor words, right. Nope. All you're going to do is where does it go? Point and read. That's it. That's it. Don't say the pattern, vowel sound. It's where does it go? Point and read. Okay? Okay, give me 5. Thank you. If you don't have a 16-card matrix built, you're going to need it. So hurry and get it built. If you cleaned it up, unclean it, put it back. And then we'll move on. All right. There was a little bit of confusion on one thing. That is, at this point, you are not talking about vowel pattern, vowel sound. You taught that originally. Now, all you're doing is saying, putting a card out, where does it go? Point and read. Period. That's it. You're not going through vowel pattern, vowel sound right now. You will, but not yet. So you're explaining, first of all, your anchor words, then you're handing a card and saying, where does it go? Point and read, going down each column every time you hand a word, a new word. Now you're going to go back and you're going to review vowel pattern, vowel sound. So look in your, if they've got the wrong word in the wrong place, then you're going to say, look at the vowel pattern. Say she's got has in pig. You're going to say, this is the I consonant pattern. You've got an A consonant here. Okay?
So only if it's a mistake do we point out the vowel pattern. Vowel
right.
mistake.
If it's correct, good to go.
Read that.
Go. All right, now look down at number 5. Everybody there? Tutor asks the student, what is the vowel pattern? Student points to each vowel pattern and reads down the column. Number 6, tutor asks the student, what is the vowel sound? So once I get my matrix built, I'm going to come over here so people online can see me. And I'm going to come over to here to Jamie, and I'm going to say, tell me vowel pattern. And she's going to say a consonant pointing with her finger, a consonant, a consonant, consonant, a consonant. And then I'm going to say, tell me vowel sound. And she's going to point and say, ah, 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 ah. Do it with pig. Tell me vowel pattern all the way down.
I consonant. I consonant, consonant. I consonant. I consonant.
Vowel sound.
Eh, 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 eh.
Now, when you're first starting with them, you can go through the whole matrix reviewing this and doing this, but eventually she's going to get onto this and it's wasted time. So once she's got it, all you need to do is go across the top and say, tell me vowel pattern, a consonant, tell me vowel sound, a or a. I consonant, I, O consonant, ah, E consonant, eh. And she doesn't need to go through the entire speech. She's got it, right? Okay, now I want you to do that with your buddy quickly, of just have them go down the list and you say, what is the vowel pattern? And child's going to point to a consonant, a consonant, a consonant, a consonant, and then ah, 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 ah. Do that right now. Parts, but the next 3 parts are super fast. This was the tricky part. I'm like, can I talk? Good. Okay. All right. So this next part is fast pencil, and it's so simple. All you're going to do is take a pencil and just point to 5 or 6 of the words, especially if they happen to get them in the wrong column, and the child just says the words. What I didn't write in here when I wrote this was that the fun thing to do is hand the child the pencil and say, all right, now you test me and see if I can get them. So write that right in your booklet and say, and then hand the child the pencil and let them do it. So watch Jamie. So Jamie, here we go, and they're upside down, but she's reading right side up, so we're good. Okay, here we go.
With all, dad, box, step, bend, cut, cat.
If she's goofing up, I'm going farther. She's goofing up.
With, chop, doll, hit.
Okay, good. And then she'll hand it to me and I'll do it. And usually you say to them, chase my pencil, see if I can beat you, see if you can move as fast as I move my pencil. And for children who are struggling, don't go too fast on it, but it's fun that way. All right, ready?
Ready.
Pig, hit, bend, box, snack, doll, bread. That's good, I got it. All right, so try fast pencil with your buddy. Go ahead. Got it? And then switch. Oh, you did? All right, give me 5. Okay, turn to the next page. This is a memory game. Yes.
So you said when the teacher and the teacher said the word,
No.
okay.
Her question was, for those of you online, the pattern of this is that the tutor or the teacher points to the word and the child says the word. Then you hand the pencil to the child points to the word, and the teacher says the word, or the tutor says the word. The point to this is to put you on the spot. They love that, right? Okay, so you're going to memory. Now in memory, this is just like memory that you played with the children, but the way you match this is with vowel pattern, vowel sounds. So they're learning this. You cannot possibly play an entire memory game in the amount of time you've got. So you can only choose 4 or 6 cards to work with. So choose 2 A's, choose 2 I's, and that's it right now. We're just going to play with 4. Mix them up and turn them over so you can't see them. And put them in a 4-card matrix. Okay. All right. All right, watch Jamie. Okay. Okay, to Jamie, I'm going to say, and the point to this is for the tutor or the teacher to lose convincingly every time. Convincingly is the key word. I was tutoring a little girl at Guadalupe Elementary, and she had come from Mexico with no English at all. And we just made great strides with this program. It was really good. But about in March, she said to me, Mrs. Okroy, you finally won. Aren't you so happy? And I thought, no, I wasn't trying to win. But the point is to let them win. Now on this, they're going to catch on to it pretty quick with just 4 cards. So you're going to probably want to play 6 cards, but for purposes today, we'll stay with 4. So I'm going to say to her, turn over a card and read the card. Okay? See if you can find its match. Okay? Is it a match?
Yes.
Read the 2 cards.
Cat, add,
Why do they match?
A's.
Okay, a consonant says ah.
A consonant says ah.
Right, okay. So guess what? She got it right. She gets another turn. Ha! Okay.
Now, did you notice that I actually had them?
Yeah, now the thing I forgot that's the most important of anything and everything is look in your manual and it's in bold. And when I ask her why it's correct, what's the wording I should be using with her? Justify that, please. And they love to say that. It's like, why is that correct? Okay, so she gets another. Well, looky there, kind of.
It is. I'm like, I was going to say, no, it's just backwards. It's just backwards. But
You know, I'm
which
sure.
do you prefer backwards or upside down?
Somebody online.
Adjusted, right?
Somebody online is for sure watching this going, if they would just do this. And we don't know what this is. Okay, so she's going to do the next match. Read it.
Hit.
Okay. Read it.
With.
Justify. Is it a match?
Yes.
Justify that, please.
I, consonant, consonant.
Good. All right. Play memory with your buddy. Go ahead. Just be sure you got 2 matches on it. Okay, so is it a match? Good. So say, is it a match? Is it a match?
This match.
Justify the please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I consonant says I, consonant says I. Okay. Okay. Okay, give me 5. Okay, last piece, turn to spelling. And on spelling, you need your 3x5 card that's in your folder. Pull that out. Number to 4. And I'm going to do it with all of you, but normally it would be the tutor doing it with the child. You're going to pick out 4 words, specifically ones they may have struggled with putting them in the right column. And you're going to say the word to them, have them repeat the word, use it in a sentence, and then you're going to tell them to talk to their pencil. So I'm coming over to Jamie, and she's numbered to 4. And I'm just going to pick 4 words that she doesn't know, and she's not peeking, are you? Okay. And I'm ready to say it. So you write exactly what I'm saying, okay? And you're going to repeat with me just like Jamie is. So the word is hit. What's the word?
Hit.
I love to hit my brother. That's so mean, isn't it? But I did. Loved it. Okay, so what you're going to do then is say to the child now, talk to your pencil. So they are going to say H-I-T, and they're going to write the word. And with young children, talking to their pencil makes such a big difference because they're thinking and they're writing at the same time. Some children will want to do it phonetically and they'll say, it, and that's fine too. It's better on spelling, though, to actually use the letters. Now, I'm going to correct right now. So if she's making a mistake right now, I'm going to say to her, so put an A there. Okay, and the word was actually hit. And I want you to tap what you wrote. Okay, and what was the word I gave you? Hit. Okay, let's tap hit. Yeah, and I'm going to stop her right here and say, I is spelled with what letter? And she's going to say what? I. So cross it out and write the word hit. And you correct right when they're writing. Perfect. You correct when they're writing so that when you get through, they've got 100%. Don't let them get off on it. All right, next word is mad. I am really mad. What's the word?
Mad.
Good. Write it. Talk to your pencil. Good. Next word is then. What should we do then? What's the word?
Then.
Good. Write it. Talk to your pencil. Good. Last word, chop. I love to chop wood. What's the word?
Chop.
Good. Talk to your pencil. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Jamie, listen to me again. Chop.
Chop.
Chop. Yes. Cross that out and write the word chop. She is a bit of a problem student. Okay. Now, watch on your spelling. If you're not on the spelling piece, turn to that. And it's going to tell you that you're going to check it by using these cards. So it's called Say It, Match It, Check It. And it's just on the bottom of that spelling page. Can you help her get on the right page on spelling really quick? She's beyond it, I think. Okay. Okay. What's it on? What page is that?
63.
63, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to hand her a card, and she's going to place the word. So it's going to look like I'm going to say it, match it, and she's going to go like this. CCHHOOPP, always from the top down. Check it means that she's going to check that it's correct. And then I'm going to hand her a different card and say it,
Mad.
match it, check it,
MMAAD.
and then check it. Okay? Say it,
It.
match it.
We can't handle
See the chords
What
over
can't
here.
you handle?
HHIITT.
Good. Okay. And then your last
It's
one.
right here. I unplugged it so it wouldn't be in the document camera. Then
Good.
TTHHENN.
Good. And check it. And so she got 100%. This is what you're going to need your notebook for, is to keep track of their spelling. Okay. Now,
I only unplugged my computer during that last break.
all right. We have got time to do a couple of things that we're going to work on. First of all, your biggest question, I'm sure, is how do I move them from one set of cards to the next? Because you'll be on mixed short vowels for quite a long time. So look in your manual, and I want you to turn to Next Steps Word Study Check, and it's actually on page 83. So you would count out 40 of these cards that you're working with on the current word sort you're working with, so on mixed short vowels, and they'd be all mixed up in random order. And all you're going to do is just put the card on the table and have the child say it. Now, in order to pass it off, they have to get 35 cards correct, and they can make no more than 3 errors. So you're just doing 40 cards, 35 correct, no more than 3 errors. If they get 35 correct and they've got 5 errors, it doesn't pass it off. They really need to know this before they can move on. Okay, questions on that, or are you okay there? All right, then the other thing I want to talk to you about is, well, how does this work with, this is what I need right here. So in the back, you've got a couple of charts that are going to be really helpful for you. Go to page 79. Okay, this is from the University of Utah. This will also be online. And this first group right here are the mixed short vowels. So it shows you exactly how to set this up. So all of those words that were hat, all the short A's, they just hook together with a rubber band or with a paper clip. But this whole thing is in one bag. I've got it labeled mixed short vowels. And so in your tutoring room, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can get shoe boxes and just put on the front of it mixed short vowels and just fill it with enough of these for each tutor to be able to do it. Or this is what some people in Alpine District did that I loved. They got baseball cards, and they've got this in here the way it should be, and then they've labeled it mixed short vowels, and with their baseball card holders, they've just put, and I need to show this over here. Can you see what it is? So they've just put each one of these in a baseball card holder. And then you're going to core vowel patterns of A, E, I, O, U. So you're starting first with core vowel patterns of A, and they're all right here. So can you show that on the document camera? So as you're moving down this, once they pass off these mixed short vowels, then you're just going to move on to the next set of cards. And you'll just keep moving on down. Okay? Don't move them until they can pass them off. Yes.
So on the
Right. Now, let me show you a couple other charts that are going to be helpful for you. If you go to page 82, it says Next Steps Word Study Sequence, and you'll see the sequence there of what's being taught. And then there's a couple of cheat sheets for people that are tutors, but maybe don't even know what a short vowel sound is or what a consonant is. And trust me, you will have those people that you're going to have to work with. So go to page 73, and on 73, you might want to sticky this. On 73, you'll have all of those different patterns listed for each thing that's going to be taught. They're all right there for you. On the page next to that, you have all of the alphabet so that you can use that as a testing mechanism to be sure that they know vowel pattern, vowel sound. All right, what questions do you have on it? Do you understand? Question.
All this that they're presenting here.
Then you wouldn't waste your time. You would spend more time in dyad reading.
Yeah.
But the majority of these kids do not know this. That's why they're in the program.
Yeah, but then I'm just saying that like if we're just going by these, because it's not complete.
Right.
So then what?
I don't understand. What do you mean?
All the vowel teams aren't here. There's just a lot more to the like phonics.
Exactly.
And so to me, it's like even if you did all your work and you got everyone to know this, they would still do terribly. If you look at Dibbles.
Are you talking
more.
about ED endings and all of that?
I'm talking
about
everything that's on Dibbles. It is not here.
Right. It is in the full program. This is just
I've looked
the
at that. And so
then
they just don't share it with us because it's copyrighted.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. So you've got a rudimentary form of this.
Okay.
Yes, question? And you could do, that's fine. Yeah, because if you need time, you could leave that to the end. And it also speeds them up if they know that memory's at the very end. So that'll work. Other questions? Yes.
Real quick, so like this one we separate by short vowel. A pattern you separate by A, like
Right.
that's how you're separating them out. Those are the top ones.
Those are your cores. Yeah, and then they're learning that AI pattern, that A consonant E pattern, that AR pattern. Okay. And if you're wondering and want more information, be sure you read this. And if you want even more information, go to the University of Utah website. This is pared down.
I feel like this is what you get when
You're going to get a lot more.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
This is paired.
specific website? 'Cause I've looked.
I'll help you. This is pared down from a booklet like this. That's Next Steps. So it's very in depth, and we did this because we're working with a lot of tutors who you can't train that. That Next Steps training takes an entire year to learn that, and we just don't have that time to teach these tutors. So it's definitely pared down. Okay? Other questions? Are we good? I was going to have you run through it, but I think you've got it, right? I think you've got it. So will you put things back with their paper clips and put them back in your bag, and we're good to go?